Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And in our constant struggle to bring you the best YouTube channel that we can, we are ever evolving, and we do market research, and we listen to you guys. And one thing that we've been asked time and again is for a little bit about ourselves. So what we're trying this week for our Thursday Something Different video is the Strip Cover Lit Variety Hour, which will not be an hour.
It's the variety, roughly 20 minutes.
Right. And the first thing I want to talk about, Dalton, is your choice of cigars. This tastes like Fruity Pebbles and tobacco.
This is a Tatiana Fusion Frenzy, which I think is absolutely delightful.
It smells like white diamonds. This smells like you lit a 74-year-old woman on fire. This is awful.
Thank you for ruining me with the best visual I've ever had in my life.
Her white hair just flaming.
I'm going to get kicked out of a nursing home later. What do? He lit her on fire. Oh, Roger, help!
Lady, you smell delightful. Come here.
No, this is a Tatiana Fusion Frenzy. It was my week to pick the cigar. And I chose something that was smokable and enjoyable, and was not pitch black, and did not taste like instant death. So there you have
This does not taste like instant death to
No,
you.
I enjoy this.
What is more instant death than old women?
Old men, which is how I imagine you like your cigars.
Okay. Tasting like old men. I'm not sure where to go with that, but some factory miles are definitely my choice in cigars.
This is it. This is it.
So what do you want to talk about, Dalton? What's something pressing for you?
Very pressing right now. First of all, lovely Han Solo coat that I have here, because I went and saw Star Wars. It was delightful. We won't talk about that because you haven't, because you're a monster.
I have not. I want to. It's always sold out.
You went and saw The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. Tell me about it, please.
I wanted to like The Revenant. I wanted to love The Revenant. It is not a lovable movie. Not for the violence and rawness and grittiness of it. First off, the movie should be called Crawl Hard, okay? Because 80% of the movie is Leonardo DiCaprio crawling on the ground. Along those lines, there is a betting term called the wrong team is favored, right? Mm-hmm. In this movie, everyone says, "Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonardo DiCaprio, give him an Oscar, give him an Oscar, give him an Oscar." The wrong team is favored. Tom Hardy is the better actor in this movie. By far the better actor in this movie. First off, the entire movie, Leonardo DiCaprio is supposed to be in pain. And Leonardo DiCaprio acts as if he has never experienced a day of pain in his life.
He probably has.
He probably has not. And it comes through, okay? Second off, a lot of nudity with DiCaprio. The man does not have a hair on his body, nary a hair on his form. Okay, catch the pun there, near. Anyway, for a mountain man, that would be very uncomfortable. I don't know if it's realistic. That guy wouldn't last very long. You're talking survival of the fittest. Also, Tom Hardy, got to make sure my old lady's still lit. Tom Hardy changed his accent, changed his cadence, changed his delivery, changed his posture, everything for the role. Leonardo DiCaprio looks and sounds like he has a master's degree in being on film. Okay? For the character he plays in this movie, that is a very bad thing.
I like Tom Hardy. Whatever his name is. I like him quite a bit. Stop spitting out my old lady cigar. The cut was bad. I will give it that. But you said Crawl Hard. I actually had to stifle my laughter because I realized that every scene that I remember Leonardo DiCaprio on, he's technically crawling. Wolf of Wall Street, after he takes the lemons, he's crawling. Titanic, when they're on the raft, technically he's on his knees. We'll call it crawling. So I'm going to make the argument that Leonardo DiCaprio is best on his knees.
Look at you go. Look at you go.
And I made myself laugh with that, so I had to stifle it just a little bit. But that is disappointing, because I was really looking forward to that film. Not as much as I was looking forward to Star Wars.
Also, and honestly, I don't know why I'm better at this than critiquing books, but Hollywood, let me speak to you as a loner, as a man who is always on his own. Hollywood has done me no favors, especially as the dark-haired white guy. In every movie, I'm the serial killer. In every movie that is not of the horror genre, I'm the weirdo. Of every movie of the literary type genre, I am the bad omen. Okay, he comes across a loner in this film, Leonardo DiCaprio does, as he's on his own. And yeah, not good stuff. Eats raw meat out of a bison, this guy does. Wears Sting's face paint. Just.
Did you say Sting is in the professional wrestler?
Yeah.
Oh my. Might I point out that the WWE Royal Rumble is this Sunday on the WWE Network, if anyone is so inclined. I have shameful things that I like to admit, apparently, internationally. But you kind of bring some of that vibe onto yourself. You do realize that.
No. No. Also, you said internationally, we are, like you say, big in Switzerland.
We are big in Switzerland, apparently. But you kind of do.
How do you mean?
First of all, we went over this
You
before.
can't just say this and not explain it.
Oh, I can explain it a lot. I just don't want to get hit. Which, again, adds to the problem. First of all, we went over the fact that you do walk to the library to use Twitter.
This is not fair, but go on.
That is absolutely fair. You said he eats raw meat from a bison.
Okay.
I would like to couple that with the modern equivalent of he eats nothing but soup from cans.
Carry on. Granted.
And as I look longingly over to this side here, which is not on camera, all I see is a Progresso ad.
Fair enough.
So, you're not helping the matter any. This is kind of your fault.
Yep, okay, what's your point?
That's it. That's all. I just wanted to get that out.
What's the next thing you'd like to talk about, Dalton? I'd like to move on.
Oh, well, it's your choice. What do you got going for you this week? What have you been reading? What have you been writing?
I'm working on Juno Diaz still. Juno Diaz is Drown. I like it so far. It's good. A lot of... he's got a very strong voice.
Okay.
We did video on voice this week. So, it's good. I finished 3 poems this week, a first draft of 3 poems this week. I'm writing like 4 short stories at the same time right now, because I just can't finish any of them. So there will be extensive editing going on there. Yeah. I think that's all I'd like to divulge. What about yourself?
I am reading A Movable Feast by Hemingway right now, which is just a delight because, again, I have an unhealthy love for French things, apparently, which might explain these fine cigars.
Dalton, I'm going to let you know right now, the smoke from these things getting in my eyes makes me feel like I need to start taking eye caps.
I like them. They're
Old
good.
lady, you know.
But anyway, I'm reading A Movable Feast. I did get my copy of Drown, so I do need to start that so we can get that rolling, because next week we have The Infinity Gauntlet by Marvel. Good comic book, fan of comic books, glad we're talking about them.
Yep.
And then we're doing Drown, Juno Diaz. Writing. I have got a couple poems done. We have talked about doing more poetry things, which is just lovely. But since NaNoWriMo, I have not written much. That may have ruined me a little bit.
Go into NaNoWriMo. How do you feel about that?
For those of you who aren't familiar, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, and essentially, it's November. From the 1st of November to the end of November, you write a 50,000-word novel, which is, if you keep up on your daily push, is 1,666 words a day.
It's not technically a whole novel, but I see what they're doing.
It's conceptually, I love it.
Right.
It is forcing you every day to have a writing goal, a steep writing goal.
Yeah.
It is forcing you every day to get the words out.
Right.
And it's trying to make writing a habit in your life. However, I made it to 40,000 words, and I was close to dare I say, Hemingwaying myself. It almost killed me.
Right.
It was, and that's the worst part, is you're trying to get all these words out, you're trying to say everything, and then you look at the thing you just wrote and you're like, bleh, but you don't have time to go back and change it. There's no editing. You're supposed to edit in December. I didn't. But,
Well, hell, Dalton, you didn't even finish, right?
no.
I didn't either. I'm not getting on for that, but you can't
so-
edit something that's not done.
We didn't finish. We didn't win, Nanowrimo. I believe that is the nomenclature, the terminology. We didn't win.
Right.
But we attempted. For those of you who did win, good for you. That's insane. I hope that works out for you.
I still don't like you.
Well, that's inherent of any writer, is to not like someone who has done something you haven't.
We're a competitive bunch.
We are a competitive bunch. So yeah, I have not written nearly as much. I also do all the editing for this channel, which takes up a lot of my time.
Try to smoke this thing as fast as possible. I'm trying to kill it.
That's the worst part. If I would have brought a cigar, a foot and a half in diameter, you would have smoked it in 30 minutes.
Right.
It's inhuman.
I eat half of them.
That's
When you're not looking, I just
Gobble
gnaw
them?
off apart. Yeah.
Let's take a moment to thank everyone who has recently subscribed to this channel. We had a major influx of subscribers this week.
Right.
Absolutely wonderful.
Which, again, as we're doing market research, we have come across the fact that a lot of people do a celebratory video for their 100 subscribers. When they reach the 100 subscriber plateau, it is looking like that might happen relatively soon. So if you've not hit subscribe yet, do it. But we also don't have any idea how we're going to celebrate. So if you have an idea for a celebratory video, let us know in the comments.
Because we are inherent at making poor decisions in life.
I've got a master's degree in creative writing. That's a terrible decision.
Yes. We are opening up our 100th subscriber celebration to your opinions.
Don't forget the fact that we're masochists.
So, if you would like to, again, comment below and let us know how we should celebrate.
With our clothes on.
We will be more than happy to oblige one of you, maybe.
We will be maybe more than happy, possibly.
To consider doing what you ask.
Possibly.
But I think that's part of a channel, is good community.
Yeah.
And in order to have a good community, you should, for lack of a better term, make an ass of yourself.
And don't buy terrible cigars. Speaking of community, how'd you feel about Lady Murasaki's The Tale of Genji?
I hate you so much. For those of you, and by those of you I mean all of you, look, there's a soup can behind this. They're littered everywhere.
Okay, I will sum up the novel. I will sum up the novel with the title of the piece I wrote for the class that we read it in. Tale of Genji, a meandering tale of a philandering male.
The worst part is, I couldn't tell you what this is about.
Why is that?
Because I read half of it.
I know.
And I pretty much just skipped that paper.
Read half of it.
But
Pretty much your academic career.
it pretty much is. Ironically enough, I remember the title of your piece. As soon as you said it, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Meandering tale of a philandering male. That's good.
Who taught this particular class? Do you remember?
That was Benzel.
Dr. Bensel. If you are out there, why would you do this to someone? This is the Guantanamo Bay of world literature.
That wasn't that bad.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't that bad.
Would you like to point out something other from that class that was better?
I really liked
Water chocolate?
Execution of Mayor was it Yin?
We didn't read that in that class.
Yes, we did.
No,
You didn't.
I obviously didn't.
Okay, it was world literature, Dalton. Where else would you have read that?
I don't remember that
Yeah.
one. I remember Madame Bovary.
Good.
Not great.
Okay.
I remember blood chocolate, water chocolate. What's the word? Well, like water.
Water for chocolate?
Like water for chocolate.
Like chocolate for water?
I don't. Cuba, something. There was something Cuba that we read as well.
Oh, a Cuban. Wow, what was that?
See, that's how much I took out of that class. So I was a little disappointed.
Well, you can be disappointed.
And this is.
You can be disappointed when you didn't read anything.
If you would like to read the Tale of Genji and let us know what you think of it, I am open to that, and I would love to hear what you think. I would much more like to sum up this green split pea Progresso, because much like the tale of Genji, it will get you through the day, but it will not fulfill you.
It's a bad analogy.
That's a great analogy.
Green pea soup is very fulfilling. It's a very heavy soup. I'm a soup connoisseur.
I was about ready to ask if you were a soup connoisseur.
Much as you are not a cigar connoisseur.
These are not bad.
These are terrible, Dalton. These are miserable. Almost never in my life have I wanted to stop smoking a cigar.
I might actually smoke these exclusively. They come in cigarillos.
What?
They come in tins of tin. Tins of tin, Adrian. They're punny.
Why don't you tell your cigar shop story? Your little splurge.
Oh yes. I visited a local cigar shop in
Who will not be mentioned until they give sponsorship.
a fine local cigar shop. And I did go a little excessive because not only did I purchase a handful of cigars, yes, I have more cigars at home that I didn't bring because I figured I'd share this with you because I enjoyed this. I bought a humidor because I'm a pretentious person. So I have a fine place to keep my flavored cigars.
Do you keep this humidor in front of your hat rack?
Funny you should ask. The hat rack is actually residing in the living room. It faces the humidor, which resides on the bookshelf. Because I think books and cigars are a fine combination.
I'll grant it.
So, no. They are not next to each other. They are separate entities, but equally important.
But they look at each other.
They look at each other with a lofting wantiness.
All of the hipsterisms you can imagine in one place.
I don't know why you just demand to define me as a hipster.
Come on.
I don't see it.
The tobacco will not stay in the cigar.
Mine's just fine.
Wow. I would like to make some type of pun, but I don't have one.
I would like to point out, in addition to this cigar, yesterday I smoked a Punch Signature. Are you familiar with Punch? I believe a more well-known brand, a classic brand, and it was their signature cigar. You would have loved it. It tried to kill me. But
Put some hair on your chest.
No. So maybe next week. Surprise me next week with your choice.
All right. Where are we going to put cigars in next week?
Does it matter at this point? Can we just smoke cigars during any video?
Yes. You tell us. Let us know.
Yeah, if you are a cigar connoisseur, please let us know your taste. What should we be smoking? I accept Cohiba as an answer, if you would like to pay for them.
If you have never had a Cuban, that's where it's at. Jenny, if you're watching this, thank you. You know what I hate?
What do you hate?
Charles Baxter.
We've gone over this once before this week. I usually...
What do you hate, Dalton? Tell me what you hate.
For some reason, I just almost said you instantly. No, Charles Baxter. I didn't go to Master College.
I don't have a master's degree in scribbling.
So I'm not as versed. But apparently he's great.
Awful.
I would probably like him, I'd imagine. That's the best part.
He's in everything. All of the best American short story compilations, everything. You know which short story compilation of Best American he is not in? The 2015, as edited by T.C. Boyle. That's my man. I just got a stack of books over here. You can't see that. But
speaking of things that we mentioned,
yeah.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
A lot of people like The Hunger Games, and I'm sure a lot of people watching love The Hunger Games. I enjoyed them. I read the first one.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay.
So much going for it.
Go on.
Until the end. Where she's given a choice. She can shoot Peeta in the head.
Boom.
And Peeta's given a choice. He could crush her with a rock.
Crush.
And the novel could end.
Right.
And it could have been great.
Could have killed everybody.
But it didn't. Because it is one of the things you hate. It is young adult.
That's not fair.
It is that happy, go lucky ending so we can make more money.
This is awful.
Yes, The Hunger Games was awful. And I would also like to point out that I'm getting a little lightheaded because the smoke is so thick in here, it actually won't move when you exhale. It just stays.
It's like a pack of old ladies on fire. Old ladies on fire. That'd be a hell of a young adult novel, wouldn't it?
I'm just saying
Grandma's on fire?
That's my new band name.
Grandma's on fire. What kind of hipster music would you make? Would you have a banjo?
I own a banjo.
Dude, your hair is smoking.
Is it? It's not. Funny story. At one point in my life, my hair did catch fire.
Really?
Yes. We won't go into
Dalton
that.
used to have a big fro.
I did. I had
and a huge beard.
a full afro. I looked homeless. I actually spent a good portion of many a nights playing a didgeridoo on top of a bar in St. Joe. Because when you are intoxicated and you see a man with a 1.5-foot afro and beard playing a didgeridoo shirtless above you, it just opens your world.
There's nothing left to see after that.
No, and I would like to hope that
the rest of your life is with house money.
I made many people's nights with that. Where was I going? Yes, I play the guitar. I didn't know you didn't know that.
No.
And I bought a banjo because I like to finger pick, and I'm like, oh, it'll be similar. It's not. I don't play a banjo well, but I own one.
Of course you do, Mumford. Mr. Mumford.
Let's talk about Mumford & Sons. I was a big Mumford & Sons fan. Because
before it was cool, I'm sure.
I almost don't want to continue now. When Mumford & Sons first came out, they were wonderful and delightful in every sense because they were different and new. And then they decided, this latest album, to sound more like Coldplay. Because at one point somebody said, hey, we should sound more like Coldplay. And the whole band just joined in.
That's not the story you told me.
What story did I tell you?
That
The first, from what I understand, they made the first because they wanted to make it big.
the first album.
The first album. They made the second album because they had to.
Right.
And they made the third because that's what they wanted to. So, good for them.
Artistic integrity.
Good for them for having artistic integrity, but couldn't you have let somebody who did not make the finest music have more artistic integrity than you?
Sort of reminds me of Chris Cornell. Big Chris Cornell fan. Audio Slave, Soundgarden, his solo stuff. And then he dropped the one with Timbaland, and he sounded like Coldplay and Cher had a baby.
You're talking about old man music or something. I'm not familiar.
Shut up, Dalton.
I'm not familiar.
Shut up. Born in 1985. 5 years older than you.
You are almost twice the age of most of the booktubers.
That's true. And terrifying.
We have
and
actually established ourselves on Instagram
Instantgram
as the old men of the internet. And at the fine age of 25 and 30, that's delightfully disappointing.
To you.
But we are. We have become the old men of the internet. So well done us.
I don't have the internet, for those of you who don't know that. I don't know how to get it. I imagine I just go to the bank and say I want a couple shares of internet and see what happens.
I'd love to help you go do that.
You're my investor. I'd like a couple shares of internets.
He just needs a couple just to get him through the day.
Sign me up. I hear it's going to be big. I have loose tobacco all over me from your crappy cigar.
It's a fine cigar, thanks.
This is miserable. Never allowed to buy cigars again.
So,
Yes.
Variety Hour.
Variety hour.
Variety 20 minutes.
It's just fun.
It was fun. It was nice just to talk about something that wasn't lit heavy. We talked about lit. That's good.
Yeah.
But we talked about movies.
Movies are literature.
We talked about it. Movies are literature.
Music is literature.
Comic books, because we talked about art. And that was our goal with this channel, was to talk about art.
Yeah. So we get all this back here?
All this back here. So I think we should extend the invitation. If you are an artist, especially in the local Kansas City area, if you're a musician, shoot us an email. Get a hold of us. Let us know. We'd love to feature some of your stuff. And hopefully this becomes more of a regular thing.
Yeah.
And we could feature some local artists, and we can talk about art and more than just literature. I mean, let's talk about art.
I hear that what we're doing right now is something called vlogging.
Vlogging.
Okay.
Yes.
Vlogging?
Yes.
And more just talking than anything. So, well, maybe it won't go over very well at all, but I'd like to make this a regular Sunday show.
I think we could make this happen. I think we can make this happen. So anyway, please comment below. Let us know what you think of the Variety Hour, if we should continue doing this. If you're a local artist, please get a hold of us. And I think we should probably end this before your smoke detector goes off, because I can't see anything in here.
Tell us what you're reading right now. Let us know what you're writing right now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching another episode of Strip Cover Lit. It is part of our goal to bring you literature. Be that from the writer's perspective, the reader's perspective, be it from film, books, poetry, no matter what. That's part of our goal here.
The best of literature and writing almost every day of the week.
Right. So if you noticed something here that brought value to your writer's life, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button.
That really is what pushes us. I mean, we wake up every day, we're like, hey, how many people are actually following? How many people are watching? What can we do here? So make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Join us every week, actually. Monday, we'll start your week off with a 6 list, get you back into your literary week. Tuesday, we'll hit you with our reader's review. Book review, pretty simple, easy, straightforward. We'll go back into another 6 list on Wednesday. Thursday, we do a little bit of something fun. We'll do challenges, we'll do tags,
maybe
book hauls.
Maybe a makeup challenge.
A makeup challenge. We'll see what's coming. Friday, we'll hit you with a writer's quote of the week, get you through the weekend, make you think. Saturday, we'll hit a writer's workshop of the same book that we covered in the reader's review. And Sunday, we'll try to get our normal lives back in order to come right back on Monday.
So make sure not only that you hit the subscribe button, but that you follow us on Twitter at StripCoverLit, at StripCover.
At StripCover on Twitter. Because on Facebook, we're at StripCoverLit.
And on Instagram, we are...
On Instagram, we are StripCoverLit.
I don't have the internet.
I know you don't. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, and we'll see you next time.